First up is, the minutes. Does anyone see anything on there that needs to be changed?
It all looked good to me from what I could remember. I
Yeah,
spoke to
it was a
Bruce, so-
while ago.
Yeah, that's what I said when I started reading it, but it all looked good. I remembered a few things.
Any discussion? Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Second? Kara seconds,
And I abstain.
and Helen abstains.
Oh, okay.
Is there sometimes very, I click on the minutes and it pops up with a budget.
Oh, Jesus, oh geez, did I upload something different?
No,
That's
no.
fine. I got the minutes.
I got the minute.
I do that. Which comes with that? If it does, it doesn't. I don't have any.
Are you in the right meeting?
Today's meeting.
Yeah.
What are yours? What does yours pop up?
I have the
I have
meeting minutes, but she
Really?
doesn't.
I had the minutes, but I went out of minutes. So
That's-
now I am in the executive
That's bizarre.
Yeah, why would it be? different?
4130.
Yeah, how could that happen? I didn't even go down. I didn't have a chance to go down and check and make sure I have everything in the right place.
Mine came up. Jeez, why is she the only?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've
wait a
never,
minute.
I don't know how that can happen.
Now I'm getting general government.
What?
Maybe we should just cancel this.
When I
Yours?
was,
Do I have
when
the
I
minutes?
first opened it,
Okay.
I had the
Which you
minutes, but
clicked
now
here?
when
Oh, I
I
love the
selected, I,
minutes.
It's
Oh,
showing a
Now it's
budget.
back.
now it's back.
Do you have what I have?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we're.
we're on the same page.
We're on the
We are.
same page.
Oh, yeah, we're on the same page.
I don't know what they're
Meetings all
doing
day.
over there. Guys
I'd
are.
like to start that darn day. I find that whole thing about AT&T very interesting.
Yeah, but I was talking to somebody, your brother, he was telling me he has AT&T and it's no better than anything else.
Really?
Yeah.
But yet Tom says it works in the notch.
I don't know.
I go back in and see.
I've never known anything to work in the notch.
No, you lose it for a big
Yeah.
section of
Yeah.
the
Well,
notch. When
Tom
you go
Saborn
between
was,
the mountains.
Right.
Tom Saborn was telling us this morning that he has all AT&T and it works everywhere.
But maybe,
Maybe he has antennas on his cars,
I don't
his
know.
trucks.
Or up in, and he says he gets it up in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, he says he gets it in Pittsburgh too.
Well, they have all these new towers up there now.
Yeah, they do.
I have.
Maybe he
I don't
has
know.
antennas in his car. Some people do that, it boosts the
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, everything else has the.
But was he talking about that
I,
The
life-saving
house,
band?
the house
I
thing
couldn't
that's
answer
coming out,
because-
but that's only on Chevys.
No, 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 no,
So
remember you
we're not
talking
doing
about that
that.
special internet service
Of
for
the budget.
first responders?
You just,
yeah,
oh,
you're-
That's
that
what it's
could
talking
be,
about.
yeah, maybe it's something
Yeah.
that they get,
Yeah.
yeah,
what budget
yeah,
is up there,
yeah,
though? You might have to
yeah.
call up there and see,
it could be.
Different signal.
He gets off one
maybe when you get.
and starts bringing the whole fire department in, you know, which then adds to
Maybe.
our meeting,
I don't
whatever.
That's weird. Okay,
Alright, so
we're
Okay.
gonna start reviewing budgets. First up is executive budget.
The only change I have is the 3% increase, and then we added additional hours for Kathy. We're in the middle of a huge, electronic digital filing purge. It was supposed to happen actually back in 2020. We've been budgeting for it and encumbering money, and they just came through and they did. They're taking all of our property files. So actually, everything, when we're said and done, you can actually, if you look at Molten Boroughs, you will be able to go onto our town website, and where you pull up the property cards, you are now going to see the files that sit behind me if it's public information. So you'll be able to see all the ES records, anything that's publicly related
To them.
to
So
find
it's
out.
all gonna depend on who enters it to make sure they put it in right, so that private stuff is, there must be a way you must check it
Well,
off.
it will see, it's gonna come back to us, so once it's set up, it will come back to us, and then we have certain things that they know to pull.
Yeah.
And then as we release them, Kathy will be sitting beside
Yeah.
On the sideline going through to make sure that we have pulled out.
Good.
Yeah, so, that's one of our big things going on right now, that was supposed to be done a little at a time, and so once we're done there, our goal is to, then we'll move to the tax maps, like you can't move in our safe, because you're required to save those for life too. Once you microfilm them, the law allows you to release them. Now, we won't do that with our property files, but I could see us maybe letting the old tax maps go to free up some space. And then we'll move to like planning board, closet, try to get some of their stuff. It's huge. It's a huge, huge project. So they'll come back. We didn't pay for them to like unstaple, like we paid for them to unstaple, but they won't restaple. So she'll have to go through every file, get it all back in order, because we get audited on our files from DRA. And then she'll go to the electronic side of it and make sure that we really have pulled anything that may not be public information, because God knows I just went through a horrific nightmare on one of them, that still is not right. It's a file this big, and I happened to notice when I pulled it out that there was a heading, and I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be in there. And I said, just give me a minute. And so I went to pull it out, and this individual proceeded to tear apart this file to the point that I spent weeks in here in the conference room, weeks on the floor trying to get it back. And I still didn't, because I couldn't figure out the alteration of terrain. So that will eliminate this stuff. They'll be able to go see this stuff online.
Good.
So it's a company that is taking the files and doing it.
They do, yeah. They were actually gonna take all of them, and I had a little anxiety attack and said, can we just take 10 boxes at a time? Because that's a whole town history.
Now,
They
who's
were-
doing it?
In sections. But if you kind of go and look at Molten Borough is our end all be all goal. If you look at their files, that's how we will end up. So people like surveyors or real estate people or whoever, they'll be able to see that stuff all the time.
Good, cool.
Yeah, so right now,
Should
If-
go back a little bit on the 91A. Right
yes,
to know.
Oh,
the right, that should eliminate
Big
some of our
time.
right to knows and,
Absolutely.
after what happened before this last time, we are appointment only, and you're not allowed to have the file unless I'm sitting with you.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we used to just say,
Yeah, you can take that.
you can take it and, well, yes. Some
Yeah.
people, you just had it in front of my desk and they would flip and they'd keep it in order and, it was fine, but unfortunately, we're not doing that anymore because we can't have that. So that's our huge projects, and, then we'll start, I don't know if we'll get to it, but we have a lot of purging to do. We did. Remember, there was one huge chunk has gone, but
There's 2 or 3 of the rows in the back.
beautiful.
It was enormous, that Yeah. file of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all digitized now.
No, that's all gone. That, we
That's what
actually
they
had
were
a
taking
shredding
and
company, come and shred on site.
Well, they should have, was
Yeah.
that out of Hooksett?
Yes.
Yes.
Northeast.
Yes, they're very good.
Yeah, we hired the truck to come for that one day, and so that was one huge. And we'll get some more. Huh?
Gained a little bit of space, no.
So that's, I just. If it can be online, it should be.
What's in the files that's not public?
Any legal, sometimes legal stuff gets in there, sometimes we copy checks that have account numbers on there, sometimes there's dates of birth, social security numbers, depending on how far back, like. Old DRA records, for credits, exemptions, any of that. They used to ask for those numbers.
Yeah.
And some of them we've tried to go through them, as we see them, we block them out. But
Any other discussion on the executive budget? Moving on to the town clerk.
we have 4 elections coming up this year. And a new voting machine, and that's pretty much the only changes.
4 elections?
Yeah,
Yeah. Make,
we've got primary.
make sure you're available.
Primary.
You have the primary in the 23rd, town meeting,
Yeah.
state primary, and general election.
Oh, the state primary, okay, right.
I thought we only had those every 2 years.
We do, but every 2 years it coincides with the presidential.
Oh, got it.
so You, so the general one will be the big one, where they'll combine them, but
I'm
Where is-
assuming the training we're doing on Friday is part of this whole increase in budget.
it's part of it. It's not the tabulator part. That will come, they won't release that to us until after the presidential primary. So, you're gonna be doing poll pads. So that's the electronic checklist.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
It is good.
And
So does that eliminate the, okay, these people count this book and these people count this book?
It's supposed to.
yeah.
It's especially in a primary, I think for us on our side of it. We're gonna see a huge difference because with a primary election, we have to not only count how many people are. Undeclared voting Democrat. How many voted Republican, how many go back,
Mhm.
we have to have all those numbers at the end of the night by. It's a lot, you should see the spreadsheets we use to get there, so this in theory will do that for us. And it will also, so on the supervisor end of it, you'll actually register them and input them in the iPad.
Mhm.
We still need the paper because the government has not let us.
Oh, the
away with
green paper?
You
the
still have
green-
to fill that out, but once they leave you and go to the ballot clerks, they'll already be in the system for them. So they won't have to write. But
Wow.
I do have to have somebody still in the back. You get, it's a credit card machine, it will print out a slip, you get your little piece of paper, you're gonna get your ballot, and then after you vote and you come around, you're gonna hand that piece of paper into somebody sitting with a paper checklist. Because the law requires that I still have a marked paper checklist, so we'll have one instead of 4.
Let's see.
So,
And I think I'd be prepared for a lot of write-ins.
oh, yes,
I think there's gonna be a whole.
no comment, because
No,
I'm
I
being
know.
recorded. So, oh, oops, I'm sorry, anything else?
Anything else on the town clerk?
You
Moving
said
on.
something about, wait a minute, a machine? Are we getting a new machine or something?
We are getting a new.
Do we have to pay?
Yes, we do,
Where are we getting that money?
out of the election, on the election expense. where it says
Oh, that's
new
why
voting
it jumped from
tablet.
7 to 16. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Oh, down, you're
Oh,
going
yeah.
down actually to election expenses.
Oh, expense. Okay, got it. Thank
20
you.
to 32.
Yeah.
Fine.
And we're actually returning some, because we weren't sure that we were gonna have, we thought there was the potential to have the presidential primary in December. So we had to plan for it last year, because if someone contested us, they would have moved us. So we'll return, that's why you have the balance there, we didn't have,
How about the new machine that we were only one of 2 towns that had it?
that's the one that's coming
Oh,
after the primary.
Oh.
Yep, so we've signed on with a new one.
okay.
The ballot commission approved 2. And we went with the newer side.
Okey dokey.
Anything else? Next up, tax collector.
The tax collector budget actually has gone down because we had the warrant article to appoint and move it to a stipend versus having an elected official. So, and we negotiated her stipend when we asked her to bring it on so that the office was open full time. And we no longer do the tax collector fees. They get returned to the town because those were addition to the salary for searching. So that's why that's zeroed out.
Any discussion? Next up, legal.
Same.
No changes there, any discussion?
No, leave it, because you never know.
Yeah.
Next up, town buildings.
A lot of that is down due to the the electricity, because we had planned for the big increase and then they kind of plateaued and went down a little bit, so we just readjusted.
We also lost 2 buildings.
We did, we lost, there were, the old firehouse really didn't have, and I think it was like a $30 bill a month. But the other, garages were efficient, for sure.
Heat's way down.
Yeah, well, it was been pretty warm,
Well,
and last year was warm.
and we're running on these now. Actually, our furnace didn't operate for most of last year. And they just warrantied it, so we're getting a new furnace and they're covering the cost.
Any more discussion on town buildings? Next up, insurance.
That's general liability for the whole town, so all your buildings, vehicles,
Up 10%.
Well, better than private business. 15 and 20%.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Next up, advertising.
plus the chamber.
I'm assuming that's a new dues structure.
Yes, that's the one I just got.
Any discussion? Next up, contingency.
This is what it is. We're required by law to carry these accounts.
Those don't go up, they just stay the same.
We just have to have a line item to run it through, really.
Yep. Yep.
You will see the outlay go up during a reval. That's when you're gonna see it jump to like 50,000, because we have to make sure, like in 2025, once this town goes through a whole reval, and we have to anticipate the abatements and we've been very fortunate, but I'm not so sure this time. We'll see what it happens.
Next up, street lighting.
And how come that's down? Lose some street
Cost of
lights?
electricity, no. Although we do have
Take-
several outlay.
Who's responsible for that, the co-op?
Yeah, we submit a list.
And they'll get to it when they feel like it,
Mhm.
and through that way.
Any more discussion on streetlights? Next up, patriotic purposes.
Are they gonna use the same fireworks company that we had last year?
Yes,
So is this for the same amount of what we got last year, and the price is just going up, or are they?
actually, I don't have a contract for them. I just added a thousand because I figure everything else has gone up and I
Okay,
don't know what
that's
to
fine.
anticipate, so
They gave us the same price. For,
a different
we
day.
have to do a different day.
We can't have it on July 4th?
No, it's on July 3rd. Not even into, they're no longer, it's because with COVID, their training schedule got off kilter. And so they're down techs that ignite them, and so they're not doing any fireworks out of state. This coming year, they're doing them all of it, and so they came out to the board. For the selectmen and said, we can do it the day before, or the day after. We can't do it the day out, but we'll guarantee you the price that we can do after.
Where are they
So
out
we
of?
have a jump, they're out of them.
So they're doing all the Vermont people.
And when we looked at, we did put it out and looked for other agencies, and the price was significantly more for not knowing what
It was 5,000.
we were gonna get. Yeah, 5,000.
That'll be the weirdest feeling.
What day is that? Do we know?
Third, it's on a Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night and then 4 o'clock.
Well, you can go to multiple shows.
Oh, like, like
What
Ashley
are you gonna say?
goes,
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah, go to
So
Ashley.
it's fun, doing fireworks things, WMBR puts it out there. Mhm.
But we did, we also, then when we committed, or we agreed to the third, we did say. We would like to see it get back to the fourth, like, let's not make this an annual trend,
Right.
and so the ultimate goal is to get back to the fourth.
I'd be upset if come to find out they went somewhere else on board.
Well,
It'll be interesting to see what they come back with for a
Parade,
They'll do it on
still on the fourth,
because
so, right,
they kept.
the
it
parade,
same.
all the other
things on the
festivities will be on the fourth. So you're just kind of kicking it off with the fireworks instead of
before.
ending it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can ask what it is, what it is.
I think it's.
It's like New Year's Eve, and
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good way to say it.
July Eve.
get up, you can stay up all night, party, and get up at 2.
Sleeping late.
Yeah.
More space for us and less
Hear all
for
the
us other
sirens.
people that like to come. 'cause we don't-
That's another, well, I'll be here if it's the middle of the year.
The Winter Festival, we're increasing $1,000.
We are.
Oh, that was
That
so
was
good.
so much.
My
great
hat's
stuff
off
about it.
to her.
It's awesome.
My hat's off to her.
It's like we were a Hallmark movie.
That's
you know?
That's what I'm looking to become.
We're trying.
A lot of people said that. We were at Fadden's. There was a lot of people around there and they were just this, they just said, this is, I said, listen, we're a small town, first year we're doing it, I'm not quite sure. She says, I don't care what it is. It's gonna be fun. And by gosh, when it came down there, I was like,
I was just happy to see anything other than municipal vehicles, like all every department, like, we're gonna have a parade, but it might just be us. Do you think you could put a couple pieces of equipment in? And they were wonderful. They did. They all
Some of the
decorated.
floats were
and-
oh.
Great, it was great. It
we
was
should've
great, it
known
was
the
wonderful.
ministry Was gonna
That
do
was good.
something.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Some-
And it'll be even better next year, because everybody, it's more heads up, more heads
Yeah,
up, more
actually,
people wanna
after-
participate. You
After
know,
the presidential primary, I'm gonna put out a thing, save the date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've already got, everybody that was here this
You already
year
told me
is
that.
booked for next year already. booked for the
Awesome.
year. So. We're hoping just to keep it the second Saturday every year. That way we don't infringe on. Littleton's Thanksgiving, Plymouth is always the weekend after, and we'll just follow because
Right.
I would not wanna do that to them.
No, because then they
It'll be the
might come up to
14th.
ours.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody can go down from us.
So, yeah,
Whatever.
it all worked out.
Perfect.
We were on a Women of Prayer and it worked.
No, I think it was great.
So yeah, that's that.
Okay, next up, Common Flowers.
That's everything. That's the trees, that's everything. With Karen.
There's an
It
awesome
is
job.
still Karen.
It is still Karen. Yeah, she keeps us and.
It looks very nice. She does a
Yeah.
good job.
Okay, that seems to be it. The next meeting is next Wednesday at 5:30. We're gonna review the joint budgets. And
And
prepare questions.
I've
And I don't
looked
have to
at
run the meeting this year, do I? It's
never-
Lincoln's turn.
It's
They made me
Lincoln.
run it last time.
but I thought we said that we wanted you to run it because we get done sooner. I believe we had this discussion, if you look back in the minutes, I believe it didn't say that, and you said,
Yeah, but we were here.
This time is Lincoln's turn, even though we're going over there.
Yeah,
They're
you just-
hosting.
"We're there."
But aren't we always going over there now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
it's
of the
just-
space.
we can't do
do
it.
Yeah, we all went there last
They
year.
have too many
So are
members.
we in Lincoln next week?
You are,
No,
No,
not
no, not next year.
Next week, we're here, the following.
the 17th.
But these are all up in your portal. So you
Yep.
guys can
Yep,
start
I
looking
saw
at them
them.
and then you guys can figure out, use next meeting to discuss them. And. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the budget committee tonight? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Good motion.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, seconded by Faith. All those in favor say aye. Meeting is adjourned at 6:57.
5:57.
5:57.